Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to today's deck profile. I have for you an undefeated 4-0, no clickbait, Shaddolls deck profile. This is the pure trap variant. This is my most updated version of the deck. This is what I literally played this past weekend. And yeah, I'll have that pull up on the screen here. My record went 4-0. I think it was pretty smooth. I played against Virtual World. I played against Invoked, Shaddolls Trap. I played against Unchained, and I think I played against one more matchups. I don't remember it, to be quite frank. But yeah, a little bit of here and there. I thought this was good overall. And so I'm going to showcase you guys my updated list now and what I played. So we'll start off with the monsters. So 3 Wendy. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. This is a different attribute Shaddolls monster, and you'll need to have a lot of those for Apolone. 2 Squamata. 2 Hedgehog. I bumped down Squamata from 3 to 2 because I wanted to play the third Ash Blossom, and I'll explain that when I get there. This is 2 Aerial, 1 Shaddolls Beast, 1 Shaddolls Dragon, super rare soon in OTS 15, so I'm super excited for that, guys. And then 1 Shaddolls Falco. So, one thing to also clear up is this version of the deck is without Nadir Servants, and what I hope to do with this deck is it's basically like Boab a couple weeks into the future, a couple months into the future. So it's like a little bit of a spoiler, I would say. And I think it's really, really cool to show you what the deck could be and what the deck is right now, right? So 12 Shaddolls monsters in the main deck. I think it's actually good to play a lot. I mean, it's not good to play a lot because you can break on them, but these are the ones that you have to play at a bare bones minimum. But it's also okay because I'll show you some of the cards I play in the main deck that kind of helps justify playing a lot of Shaddolls. 1 Ecclesia because it's a light monster. So that's super clean. It's also a card that you can like summon back with Cross Sheep. And it's basically it searches you punishment. Then we have 3 Ash Blossom. And then 3 Nibiru. So this is the hand trap of my choice, and the reason why I want to play Ash Blossom is because it's more outs to Dragoon in the main deck, which is really important because Dragoon is a very problematic card for this deck if it goes unanswered. It's actually very problematic for a lot of decks if it goes unanswered. And then I play 3 Nibiru, because if my opponent, a combo player, has to play through my back row, if they somehow play through the back row and Nib is the last card, they usually don't have a way to play around the Nib when like they have to also play through the back row, which is why it's just really strong. And it's also a light monster, so like if you were to activate Shaddolls Beast, draw 2 cards and discard 1, you can discard like a dead Nibiru, and then now you have a light monster in your graveyard for Shaddolls Schism, right? So it being a light hand trap is like really, really important as well. For that reason, and it's a light hand trap that summons itself kind of like Gamma, so that when you have it on your side of the field, it's now a card that you can El Shaddolls with to help you push for damage in game. I really like Nibiru. I think it's very strong, especially in decks like Shaddolls. And you can also, if you have like a Shaddolls monster face up, because Nibiru can only tribute face up monsters, Nibiru's effect to tribute monsters on the field would actually trigger Shaddolls effects. Something important to keep in mind as well. For the spells, we play 3 L, and then we play 3 Super Poly, and then 1 Shaddolls Fusion. So here's my logic on this refined spell list is because 3L, because it's a quick play, it's a chainable. Chainable spells are very important because for decks like this, it lets you outplay your opponent. So that's why L is really nice. It lets you dodge a lot of stuff. So that's why El Shaddolls is so clean. Super Poly is really crucial, but I'll go into Shaddolls Fusions first and just cover the Shaddolls spells. But I only play 1 Shaddolls Fusion because it's not that amazing into like the virtual board. It's not amazing into the Diatron board. And it's not amazing against like the trap decks, right? So like Shaddolls Fusion is not that great into a lot of like decks right now. So I only play it at 1 and I search it when I need it to like help OTK my opponent. So that's why I only play it at 1. And then you play 3 Super Poly. So this card I think is the MVP of the deck. It's one of the best cards in the deck. Super Poly is really strong to the Diatron board because most people have been cutting Vanity Ruler. So this just outs the entire Diatron board. This by itself outs the entire Diatron board. You can chain block with Construct, and then you can also like just send Aerial, banish all 3 names in their graveyard, and the game just like ends. Like you literally not only crack their whole board, you also banish their entire follow-up. So even if you don't kill them, they just can't play the game. And if you super poly them and they make window on the following turn, they also like just lose. So super poly just cracks the entire dodge run board as long as they're not playing Vantage Ruler, which is really nice. Then we have for traps, 3 Dino Miss, 3 Shadow Game, 3 Torrential, and then 2 Punishment. So I'll start off with Punishment, which is gonna be super rare in OTS 15. I'm super excited for that. So definitely go support your local gaming store, play remote dual locals, and grab some of those OTS 15 so you can grab these super rare Dogmatic Punishments coming soon. It's going to be super sick. But I played 2. I originally had this card at 3, but I cut it from 3 to 2 because I'm playing Ecclesia in the main deck, so that Ecclesia serves as a pseudo 3rd punishment. And Ecclesia is technically better because it's an extra monster. It's a light monster that you can send from Shaddolls Fusion. Cross Sheep can bring it back, search you punishment. So that's like the reason. Torrential Tribute because it can trigger Shaddolls monsters. I do want to test Needle Sealing. I just don't have the card on me. But what Torrential Tribute is really strong with, it can trigger all your Shaddolls monsters, so you can go plus 3 Shadow Game. It triggers all your Shaddolls monsters, one of the best cards in the deck. It can make Skomata into a interruption. So this actually came up against a virtual player where like he went normal summon Lulu. I set Skomata because I went first. I flipped Shadow Game. I flipped up Skomata, popped his Lulu, and then it made it really much harder for him to play the game. And it's really and then we have 3 Dino Mace. This card is amazing. Into the virtual matchup, you can banish their Qinglong, you can banish their Chuchi. So that's really powerful. And the fact that this card banishes the card it targets makes it really strong. In the Elec matchup, you can banish their Golden Lord. And you can banish one more Lord off of the aerial. You win the entire game because they would have no more Elec in their deck because most lists only play 2. Every time I banish 2 Lords, for some reason, my opponent ends up playing 3. But for the most part, you should be winning that match when you banish both their Lords with Dino Miss or Aerial or any combination of Dino Miss Aerial, which is why this card is so nice, and it triggers Shaddolls monsters. This card can also become an extra body for you to make Cross Sheep with on the following turn as well because it can come back. And you have a lot of chainable traps so that this card can come back with. So that's the reason. If you guys don't know why I play these cards. And then for the last 3 trap cards, the one-ofs Shaddolls traps. I play Schism. I think that's obvious. I play 1 Rush. I think this is pretty obvious as well. But then the Shaddolls Core, which is the Spice. I like this card a lot because it makes Ab Cologne into a way to get access to your spell and trap Shaddolls cards in the graveyard. You can also pitch this with Dino Mist and trigger it so that you can add back. Shaddolls Core also makes it in like heavy grind game situations. Shaddolls Core will make it so that you will never run out of a Shaddolls monster. Shaddolls Core is just like an amazing card. I really like it. You can also like activate Shaddolls Core and then activate Torrential. So it's a card that makes Torrential live whenever you want, which is kind of nice. And then when you Torrential the Shaddolls Core can actually add back a spell trap, so you never go minus, which is like so insane, right? Because if you watch like the Invitational this past weekend, you saw players like Cam activate Conquistador just to summon a monster to trigger the Torrential, right? It's the same concept that you can do with Shaddolls Core, which is really nice. So I really like this card. I think it's very strong. So nothing to say. 40 card main deck. For the extra deck, we play best fusion monster in the game. 3 Shaddolls Construct, 2 Ab Cologne, 2 Winda. I think you don't need the 3rd if you play correct. You only need 2. But in heavy grind game, I can see you needing 3. Ab Cologne at 2 is fine. You only play 2 punishment, and I don't have the Deer, so Ab Cologne at 2 is totally fine. 1 Intis, I think I should cut this card. It's like the worst card in my extra deck. I think I might play Sheshanaga instead, or play the 3rd Winda, or play the 3rd Ab Cologne. So I don't know yet. So that's it for the fusion monsters. A total of 8, if I did my math right. Yep, it is. For the links, we play Access Code Boral Sword for my link 4s. I like having the versatility of OTKing with this because sometimes you can't OTK with Access. And you need Sword specifically. Access Code can also help you like break a lot of boards and like pop cards. So this card is nice. I like Celine a lot with Cross Sheep because it makes it so that Cross Sheep is a you can like OTK really easily with a combo I did where you would summon Cross Sheep, summon construct. Sheep bring back a spellcaster, like any Shaddolls monster most of the time. Make Selene effect, bring back another monster, then you make access code. And that's 5,300 plus 28, which is exactly 8,100, which is game. So that's a cool play. That's why I played the Selene package as well. So I just like having that versatility of OTKing my opponent. So yeah, there's that. So we talked about Selene already. Then we have Cross Sheep. Shaddolls Construct, the Link 2, is really strong because in game states where you don't have access to Fusion Spell, it can help convert your bare bones Shaddolls monsters to way to get access to a Fusion Spell. And this card is really nuts because it can summon itself back from the graveyard, which helps you Link Climb to Access Code or Boros Sword, which is really insane, right? So it's a Link 2 that summons itself, Fusion summons into what you need, summons itself back as a Link 2, and then helps you climb to access or even Selene. And then so like if you can like activate this, fuse into let's say App Clone, you can like use this, send a Shaddolls monster or something from your hand, summon this back, make Selene effect, chain block. You can't really chain block because Selene is mandatory, but then you can like just like help you link climb OTK your opponent really nicely. And then my link ones, which are like some of the most broken ones in the deck, you have Artemis and Gravity Controller. These cards are really nice. Some cool plays that's really neat that comes up is like you would have Cross Sheep up, you have a Shaddolls monster like somewhere, and then you have like Construct from the following turn. Instead of using Schism to summon another fusion monster over here, because you had this from the prior turn, or like you would summon this off El Shaddolls on your opponent's turn in the middle column, the leftmost column or the rightmost column. You make Cross Sheep on your starting turn. You normal summon something, make Artemis, and then you would trigger Cross Sheep because a monster got summoned to his zone, and then it would check for Construct, which means you can summon back another monster and then just make access code and go for game. So that's a really cool play with Artemis that you can do as well, which I really like. So that's it for the extra deck. Like I said, the only change I would make is Intis. Side deck, we play Triple Lancia. It's a light hand trap, and it's very strong into the virtual matchup. 3 Justice Catastor. It's a dark hand trap, which makes to make Winda, which is really strong against Dytron. And it's a dark monster, which means you can make Winda with it, like I said, sorry. And then it's really strong against the Dytron matchup. It's a really high impact hand trap. Then we have more light hand traps, 3 Gamma and Driver. These cards are really strong. I think Gamma is like really nice right now, actually, into like both matchups, Dytron and Virtual World. So it's a hand trap that can go into both matchups, which is really important for side decking diversity. So like you have these for specific matches or matchups, and then you have this that can go into both, which is really nice. You want to have hand traps that go into both matchups so that the side pattern overlaps. And then the last hand trap is a Droll Lockbird, a random one of. So this one could be anything. It could also be Ogre. I was testing Ogre. I think Ogre is really strong because if you make Winda and you Ogre their Xinglong, like they just lose the game. I think so. That's why it's also a light hand trap. But I don't know. Joel is like fine right now. Never drew it, so I don't know. But it's also because I'm playing as a one of. But its value serves it like it's good into both virtual and the Dytron deck, so it's like still solid. So that's it for the side deck in terms of monsters, and then the last 4 spells in the side deck is 3 Cosmic Cyclone and Harpy. So Harpy, because when you like Harpy like the Elec deck, you can then resolve Aerial and then just banish every card that you popped with Feather Duster, so they automatically lose the game. And then for Cosmic, it's because chainable spells are really important. If your opponent is playing stuff like Floodgates, you want a card that you can draw in the mid game to out those Floodgates. Because if you draw Lightning Storm, it's not always live. If you draw Evenly Match, it's not always live. But this card is always live, right? Well, granted that you can pay the 1,000 life points, and it's a chainable, right? So you out like really annoying Floodgates, like Tikaboo, Summon Limit, all that good stuff. It outs mine, but it also helps you. It also helps you in the virtual matchup too, because like I said, if you out the Quinglong and you make Winda, you just cannot lose that game. And Cosmic helps you out that. A disruption on the spell and trap also means that when they activate a virtual name and target that spell and trap, Cosmic blows it out of the water. Cosmic is just like really, really strong. And like I said, a chainable is really nice into like anti-spell, Imperial Order, Like I said, people are just playing hella floodgates this format as well. To combat a lot of the combo decks, and so these cards are just really nice being chainables. I really really like Cosmic Cyclone as a card that you can like really outplay your opponent with, and it punishes people who like shotgun random back row removal and makes it so that this becomes a 1 for 2. So I like chainables a lot. Reason why you don't play Twin Twister is because Twin Twister does not trigger Shaddolls monsters, guys. And the discard is I don't like discarding cards playing a trap deck that requires every card in their hand to be live to be playable. So not even playable, but to be like have very optimal deck. So that's it for me. So if you guys like this deck profile, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this deck, how it goes out for you, and what you would play, any changes you would personally make, and all that good stuff. And yeah, guys, yo, we're trying to hit 15K, guys, in a couple weeks or a couple months. So hopefully you guys help me get there. We're almost there soon. And yeah, thank you so much. And if you guys want to watch gameplay with this deck, go check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/pack/_official_TCG. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.